I gotta warn you guys, today's video might make you a little sad, maybe a little nostalgic, but hey, is it not fun thinking back to the old times, the simpler days? I quote, because things are pretty damn good now from a gaming perspective. I mean, things aren't perfect, trust me, I'm not saying that, but we do have it really, really easy, especially when you compare pros and cons to the things I'm going to talk about today. And well, today's video is all about 5 things that gamers will never experience again. This video idea just occurred to me randomly yesterday. I think I was like watching Netflix or whatever, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll make a video reminiscing on things that I miss as a gamer, because I am 40 years old, and I've spent most of those 40 years playing video games, from the ColecoVision to the Atari to the Genesis, Super Nintendo, GameCube, Wii, OG Xbox, PlayStation, all the way up until the PS5, Series X, and Switch 2. I have played all of the major consoles, and I've been there since the beginning of, said accessories, said changes to the gaming industry. So let's jump into it. These are 5 things that gamers will never experience again. Appreciate the good moments while you can, because things can change like that. Number 1, and this is kind of beating a dead horse, but as of 2028, physical games will no longer be a thing. We all know this. I've made, 5 videos on this now because it really is an important topic. But soon gone are the days of actually having a physical game and inserting that physical disc into something like the PlayStation 6 or potentially the next Xbox console. But let's not forget, we've still got the Switch too. The whole game key card situation aside, we still do have physical games for our Switch too. And I think that says a lot. That's really important to keep in mind, because you cannot beat actually physically owning your game. And well, as the saying goes, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. And unfortunately, that's kind of the truth. Whether it's video games, movies, or music, the moment you decide to download something is the moment you also decide to not legally own something. And man, this is so truthful lately. Google recently took away a viewer's, not a viewer of mine, but just a random viewer, a viewer's, copy of The Lord of the Rings. I think it was the whole trilogy, but regardless, whether it was 1 movie or 3 movies, they quite literally took it out of their library because those movies were no longer supported by Google. Imagine forking over $20, $30, $40 for a set of movies. Years later, Google emails you and says, oh, by the way, yeah, we're gonna take that back, even though you paid us. It's not a big deal, right? Of course not, because you own nothing, and well, you'll be happy. Unfortunately, that is more true than ever. Things are just going to get worse as we move into the next generation of home consoles. Okay, this one is more nostalgic. Number 2, demo discs. Remember those? Demo discs are gone forever, and they're never coming back. Guys, I gotta be honest with you, demo discs for me, especially when you're growing up, you don't have a job, you don't have money, demo discs were such a huge deal. Growing up as a gamer, consider yourself lucky to get your hands on a demo disc, because back then, I'm gonna age myself a little bit, it was actually impossible for us to download demos to our consoles. So anytime you could get your hands on something like these, consider yourself incredibly happy as a gamer. Guys, this is the reason I was subscribed to the official Sega Dreamcast magazine. This is literally the reason why I was a Dreamcast magazine subscriber. And the same thing goes for the Xbox magazine. Occasionally other magazines would include a demo disc. This is literally what I would look forward to every single month. Imagine my excitement when I see this in my mailbox and I get demos for games like Dead or Alive 2, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, Revolt, Gundam Side Story, F1 World Grand Prix. Now specifically, obviously I was mostly excited for Dead or Alive 2. I used to be a massive fan of Dead or Alive. And then I got other demo discs for, oh my god, look at this. Shenmue. All right, here we go. Includes exclusive Shenmue movie. See that right there? This is a big deal because this was pre-YouTube days. This is how gamers like myself got access to our media in the late 90s and early 2000s. This is a big deal. In addition to movies, we also got playable demos for Jet Grind Radio, Echo the Dolphin, Demolition Racer, Gauntlet Legends, and Hoyle Casino. Guys, check it out. Rayman 2, MDK2, Choo Choo Rocket, and it included a full version of the Sega Swirl game. Gotta be honest, I don't recall what the Sega Swirl game is, but hey, it was a full game back then, and that was a huge deal. And then, of course, there's the Xbox magazine. I say, of course, because I was a huge OG Xbox fan. This was a game changer back then to get demos for games like Blinks, Death Row, Rally Fusion, Sega GT 2002 Holiday Drive. We also got demos for Far Cry Instincts. Project Gotham Racing 2 was on this one. Like, guys, we actually had a demo for one of the biggest racers back then. Honestly, I could make an entire video about demo discs. And of course, an honorable mention is PlayStation Underground Jam Packs. These were great. And fun fact, you could even get exclusive PlayStation Underground demo discs at Pizza Hut. We would literally go to Pizza Hut just to get me a demo disc. And fun fact, I literally rented Zone of the Enders years ago. I believe it was from Blockbuster, just to play the exclusive Metal Gear Solid 2 demo. Imagine having to rent one game to play the demo of another. Because again, back then we couldn't download demos. We literally did not have the storage space to download and install demos. So that's why demo discs for me will always be special. And I've got so many of them, so maybe I'll make a video about all of them in the future. Moving on to number 3, speaking of physical things that we could no longer own, I mean, technically you could still buy these on eBay, but these were a huge deal back then. These are memory cards. Yes, back in my day, we didn't have cloud storage. Back in my day, we didn't have huge hard drives and huge SSDs. This is how we stored our game saves. Let's say I played Midnight Club on my PS1 or PS2. I would put my game save file on here, take it to my friend Chris's house or Josh's house or wherever, and we would pick up where I left off on his console or vice versa. Memory cards were awesome. Now, thankfully, guys, I gotta be honest, memory cards are no longer a thing. Online storage is far, far more convenient. I mean, especially for someone like myself, I own a couple PlayStation 5 consoles in my house as a Twitch streamer, twitch.tv/DavidFranco. How did that get there? Click it, I dare you. Thank you so much. It is so convenient for me to start a game up here in my living room and then continue it downstairs in my basement because my game save automatically uploads to the cloud and then I can download it from the cloud to my other console and of course vice versa. But still, there was something really special about owning memory cards and I just realized I held this up. This is not a memory card, but it went in the memory card slot. I kind of just spoiled number 4. Stay tuned. You saw nothing. But yeah, guys, it was so cool. And honestly, I forgot to bring up my favorite memory card of all time. It's in the basement, called the VMU on the Dreamcast, Visual Memory Unit. This was the best memory card of all time. Not only was it a memory card, duh, but it also had a tiny display to show you things that the other player could not save. For example, I would play NFL 2K against my dad, and I would see my play on the tiny VMU screen, but my dad couldn't see it because it wasn't on the actual TV screen. And that was a huge deal because you quite literally had your own tiny exclusive display, viewable by only you. And hey, it would be really cool to show things like your health in Resident Evil Veronica or anything. Like each game had its own use of the VMU, and it was the coolest thing. And unfortunately, we're never gonna see something like that ever again. The Dreamcast truly was a unique console, and I believe Sega was the only company who ever did something like that with the VMU. It was incredible. Also, it's worth mentioning with the memory cards, you could actually go to websites on your PC and download other players' game saves using a special adapter, transfer that player's game saves to your memory card, and then pick up where a perfectly good stranger left off from. I thought that was incredible. The fact that you could jump to the end of a game is pretty cool. Now, is that cheating? In a way, of course, because you're taking a massive shortcut, but it is really cool to see what someone else was playing at the time and how they played it, at least when, compared to your play style. But yeah, memory cards, they will always be special in my heart. And plus, check out this transparent design. I love it. Moving on to number 4. You didn't see this earlier today in this video, did you? Of course not. This is called the Game Shark. Now, this one you see right here is for the PlayStation 2, but my original Game Shark is in storage somewhere for the PlayStation 1, and it would plug into the rear ports. And for those who don't know, Game Shark, Action Replay, Game Genie, they all perform the same. Basically, they would kind of infiltrate a video game's code and change values, giving you a completely different kind of experience. For example, let's say a video game you played, by default you got 3 lives. Well, using something like the Game Shark or Action Replay or Game Genie, you could actually use this cheating device to change that value of 3 to something like 99. So yes, instead of having 3 lives by default in a video game, you suddenly have 99. It was really cool. You could also clip through walls. You could bring characters back from the dead in Final Fantasy VII. Not gonna spoil it for you, but let's hope you've played it by now. Incredible game. I hate to say it, but that's how I beat Final Fantasy VII. I brought you-know-who back from the dead, and I beat the game as a kid. Did I cheat? Yes, but this is younger David we're talking about. I don't cheat in my games nowadays. It's really hard to cheat in games, by the way. Have you noticed that? Like the whole cheat code thing and whatever is just a thing of the past. And guys, things like the Game Shark will never exist again because of online gaming. It's just impossible. I mean, picture putting something like a Game Shark into your PS5 or your Xbox Series X and then cheating in an online game. It just wouldn't go well. Your console would be banned, instantly. Hence why these devices, they just don't exist anymore. But I'm glad I own a couple of these. I loved it. So yes, I had Game Shark for PS1, PS2, and I may have had one for the Dreamcast. Actually, no, I think I did. Because I think it was a disc, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was a disc. And then I think it would load it into memory. And then you put the actual game in. And then it would go from there. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it worked. And finally, number 5, perhaps the saddest one of all, because this one hits me right here, guys. The pure joy of playing arcade games in an arcade. I know, shocking, but at home as well. Allow me to explain. Back then, I was obsessed with going to the arcade. We would go to the Deptford Mall almost every Saturday, and when we would go to Ruby Tuesday, it was conveniently right across the walkway from our arcade. It was called Recess Arcade. And my sister and I would go there. We would order our food at Ruby Tuesday, right? Then mom and dad would be like, okay, you can go in the arcade for like 20 minutes. We'd play our games until the food got here. And I would play games like House of the Dead, Crazy Taxi, Hydro Thunder, The Simpsons, and Tekken. You know why? Because you quite literally could not play games like that, aside from The Simpsons, at home. You just could not play games like Crazy Taxi, and especially games like House of the Dead, because we just didn't have consoles that were powerful enough until the Dreamcast came along. So imagine my excitement in 1999 and 2000 when I could finally have an arcade-like experience at home. Playing House of the Dead with light guns at home was such a cool feeling. Like, I was literally getting the arcade experience at home, and it was the coolest thing. And unfortunately, kids today will never understand the joy that I'm talking about right now. But hopefully many of you can understand this joy, because again, it was just unheard of to get a graphically impressive arcade-like experience at home until things like the Dreamcast came along. Because guys, I'll never forget when we got a new Tekken machine. It's probably like Tekken 3 is my guess. It would just be surrounded by fellow gamers, because back then it was a big deal to get a brand new arcade machine, an arcade cabinet in that arcade, because, well, we didn't get games like that, again, on our home console. So to have a graphically impressive experience like that, it was mind-blowing for its time. But yeah, again, the Dreamcast allowed me to play games like Hydro Thunder, Crazy Taxi, and House of the Dead at home. And man, that's an experience I will never forget. Well, there you go. We just went down memory lane. Made myself a little sad, not gonna lie, because those are experiences I'll never get back. I mean, thankfully, I do have physical experiences that I can experience at any moment in time, like my Dreamcast demos, my Xbox demos, and my memory cards, my VMU downstairs, the Game Shark. Guys, I have a lot of gaming memories to talk about. And well, I'm just getting started. So what more do you want me to talk about in future videos? And of course, let me know in the comment section right below What are some of your favorite gaming memories of the past? Well, that unfortunately we cannot replicate in today's society. Let me know. Thank you so much, guys. Happy gaming. I'll talk to you soon.